Hey guys, Chris at the Ultimate Recycler. I'm here with my van and I'm going to show you that I made a mistake. I don't pick up e-waste as a rule. I do process it and people can drop it at the shop. But a guy caught me at a weak moment and said he's got a large TV and could I pick it up, and it was in town, it was only a couple of minutes up the road, and he said it's a big TV and it works. So I thought, oh look, I'll go and pick it up. But I had a hunch that I was making a mistake. Have a look at this. The moment I pulled in his driveway, I regretted it. It's a large TV, he said. Hang on, I'll get this catch. Look at that. The thing's a monster. It's like a block of flats. Yes, apparently it works, but you need a set-top box with it. It's got some issues. The whole cabinet's chipboard. I don't know what's inside it, but I thought, look, what the hell? Let's do a scrap out video. I was going to take it straight at the transfer station, but there might be something good in there, so you guys might not know what's inside one of these massive things. So let's try and access it and have a look what's in it. Now this thing is absolutely massive. It took two of us and we couldn't lift it. We just had to lift one end and drag it and then kind of lift the other end and push it in. It is on wheels, but it's just so bulky and heavy. What I'll try and do is I'll just move a few things here and we'll turn it round and you can have a good look at it, and then we'll see if we can get the back panel off or something and just see if we can salvage anything before I take it out to the transfer station. Hopefully there's some value in there for us. I'm certainly not considering selling it as a going TV. The cabinet's quite rough. It looks like it's been wet. It's all broken away at the bottom, and there's supposed to be a speaker screen on the front that's missing. The large flat screen has scratches in it. I don't even know what sort of TV it is. I'm not sure. Is it a rear projection? Anyway, we'll have a look inside and see what we can find. I'll relocate it first so that we can get to that back panel. There's a view of it from the front. You can see it is missing the front panel. Look, I don't know, I'm not sure how old it is. Maybe 10 years old or something. Maybe 20, probably, yeah, it wouldn't be 10, it'd be 20 at least. Digital conver. The screen is really knocked around. It's got some nasty scratches. In fact, that's actually broken. It feels like it's a plastic film. So I'm not sure how they operate. But let's take that front cover off there while we can access that, and then we'll spin it round and take the back cover off. But I'm not going to dismantle the cabinet. I'm certainly not going to try and take the screen out. I'm keen to get rid of it as quick as possible, but we'll try and salvage some value if we can. Now, he did tell me the thing was working, but geez, it couldn't have been working very well. That speaker's not in the best condition. The other one's not much better. Now, I've got this cover off. It looks like it's got three picture tube things. They're not CRTs. There must be one for each colour. Maybe it is a rear projections TV. I've never had one. I don't know what's involved with them. There's a few boards here, so looks like most of it's accessible from the back. I can see a big aluminium heatsink in there. I don't know if we're going to get any nice boards out of it or not. We're certainly going to get a bit of copper wire, so we may as well try and rip out what wire we can. But yeah, I think I'll spin it round now and have a look from the other side before I start taking things off. So that's got that panel off. The boards don't look overly exciting. There are some large chips on them, but they're pretty much low-grade boards. There's a big transformer in there, massive capacitor behind there, some aluminium heat sinks, but they're only little. I can't see any boards really that are worth getting off. Yeah, look, it's probably quite an old TV. It's maybe older than 20 years. It might be 30 years old. Big flyback transformers there, but my scrapyard tells me that there's no real copper in them. They won't take them with normal transformers. There's some nice copper spools and things in here, but for the sake of pulling it off, oh look, we might pull the boards out because I think they'll just clip out. Looks like they'll come out this way. We might get lucky and find a couple of reasonable boards. There's plenty of copper wire, as I mentioned, so I guess we should snip that out. But there's really not going to be much value here. The thing's mostly timber, mostly chipboard. I don't know what the picture tube assembly is like there, but I'm not going to start pulling the cabinet apart. It's too much work. Hello, what's down here? There's a jar. I don't think that's a Toshiba part. Oh, look, I reckon we're in the money. Haha, I've never found the rubber seals glued itself on. I've never found money in a TV. Whoa, look at this. There you go. The gods were smiling. They're $2 coins, so that's going to be $50 a packet. There's a couple of $100. That is amazing. They're all $2 coins. I'll count them out to make sure, but I would say they're $50 per lot. That's what the bag says. $50, $2 coins. 50, 100, 50, 200, $250. Hey, and I'll get $5 for the green jar. Awesome. There you go. I must have known something subconsciously when I said I'd pick the TV up. That's phenomenal. Can't believe that. All right, well, I'm going to pull these circuit boards out now just for the hell of it, because this deal is now going to be running in profit. Hooray. But I'm certainly not going to tackle the cabinet. I'll just take these boards out, I'll put the covers back on, and I'll take it out to the transfer station. I don't know how we're going to get it off. Perhaps gravity can help and we'll just push it. Maybe I'll leave the doors open and take off really fast. Don't know, it's very, very awkward to move. So anyway, how about that? I still can't believe we found a jar full of money. That was unexpected. Alrighty, I'll take the boards out. I'll show you what the boards are before I finish up this video, and then we'll run it out to the transfer station. I hope to do it tomorrow. They're open tomorrow morning, so we better get the boards out quick smart. I'm running out of time today. This is the quickest TV scrap out in history. All I've done is slid all the boards out. There was just screws at the back here, and then the whole boards were removable, which is probably sensible for servicing. I'm not going to try and get those other ones out. I can't see up under there, but I have felt around under there, and I don't think there's a yoke like normal CRTs have. I can't feel anything, so I'm not going to try and take it apart any further. I think it'll just be wasting too much time for very little copper. I've cut out all the wiring looms, so there's a bit of wire there. I'll probably cut the plugs off the thicker wires, but the rest of it can go in low grade. And the boards, well, there are some nicer bits in here. These ones here will go as, they've got some nice chips on them. They'll go as mid-grade boards. Looks like another one might be okay there, or maybe not. There's some big chips on the main board, but and I'll grab that big transformer, but there's not a lot of value. But there are some nice copper spools, so I will grab those. So there you go. We're not going to get a lot of scrap value. Our surprise value was in that green jar. I'll spin it back round, and there's a little bit of wiring loom at the front that I can get. Then I'm just going to put the covers back on, and I'll take it out to the transfer station in the morning. But I will have to chock it in the van so it doesn't roll around when I drive home tonight. Just a quick look here at what I did save from the circuit boards. A little bit of hardware. I always grab the fuses. Some of these cable tie things I tend to grab. I put them in a jar and they sell. Some of the bigger chips I leave it off the plain boards. A little bit of hardware. These little boards will go as mid-grade boards, so they're worth saving and selling, but really they don't add up to very much at all. The wire I cleaned up, I did put some of it with plugs in the low-grade bin. This will all go as mid-grade, and there's only about half a kilo there, which is only about $1.50 worth of wire. Likewise, the transformers and coils, they're paying around about $1 a kilo, and there's about a kilo, so that's about $1. I may certainly take these copper strips off, and these ones are very easy to get the actual copper wire out of. I might even do a video, a bit of a time trial to see how quickly that is and whether it's worth doing. These little spools are pretty easy to get the copper out of too. Just depends if you want to save the copper or just sell them all as they are. I don't usually bust transformers open, they're too much work for me. But as that is there, it represents about $1. And the aluminium heat sinks, it did take a while to clean them up because they usually have pins through them that go into the circuit board and they have to be removed. So that equals about 50 cents. So under $5 for the lot, and that's exactly why I normally don't pick up these TVs. So yeah, all right. Well, we'll have to get rid of the rest of it because I don't want to deal with it. I'm back from the transfer station. I took a few boxes and other things out there. And why have I backed the van down the lane, you may ask? Well, it's still here. He didn't want it. Basically, he said we can't get it in the crates and we need to stack the e-waste in the crates so that when the truck comes to pick them up, the crates can stack on top of each other. He said that monster is way too big, take it home. So, wasn't what I wanted to hear. Anyway, I don't have a choice now. I don't have the time nor the inclination to drive to a bigger place, to a transfer station that can handle it. So guess what? I'm going to unload it into my back lane and we will knock it apart after all. Well, you could probably tell by that just how big this monstrosity is. I can't do anything today. I've run out of time and we'll be working in the shop over the weekend, so it can sit here till next week. And I would suggest that next week it's going to be hammer time. I'm just going to knock the frame apart. Chipboard will break up pretty easily. We'll see what the screen's like. Maybe there's something we can use from there. Don't really know. Perhaps the guy stashed his coins in the bottom and all his notes up the top. Or his gold bullion. Who knows? Let's have a look next week. I'll see you then. So what do you reckon, guys? This one? Or should we go this one? We're not going to get too dramatic. I'm going to knock it apart, but I don't want to smash it to smithereens. I don't want rubble or, you know, broken glass and plastic all over the ground. The chipboard itself, the actual frame, I don't mind if we break it up because it'll be easy to get rid of that way. But the screen I won't damage. I'll get out and see if we can repurpose something there. And the plastic, yeah, we'll try and leave in as large pieces as possible. Well, we got into that easily. We can now see it's got a massive big mirror up at the top. That's cool. And there's 3 projector type things. So there's no picture tube as such. And there's a large kind of diffuser screen, which will try and save that. I think that might be useful for something. Looks like there might be some, I thought it might have been extruded aluminium. I think it is aluminium or a plastic moulding. So we'll take some of those off. We're going to get a bit more wire this way. And as you can see, the bulk of the case is just that black chipboard. Whoa, something just moved and scared me. But look, the mirror might be handy. We'll take those projector things out. They look pretty cool. So yeah, this is a bit of fun, but it doesn't look like we have any more cash. Never mind, we can't be super lucky twice in a row. Alright, let's clean it up a little bit and see what materials we've got. This is certainly unusual for a TV. I feel like I'm defusing a bomb. But it's going to come apart alright. There we go. So it has got a copper yoke in there. There's quite a bit of copper in there. And that looks like a mini picture tube. So we'll pull this assembly apart when we get a chance and just see. There's some pretty cool stuff in here. I think this is cast aluminium. A lot of hardware. Some copper. So that's pretty cool. Okay, it's just about hammer time. We are going to grab these wheels. They're a little bit worn, but they're still worth grabbing, I think. They rolled alright. They might be adjustable, but worth grabbing them. The rest of the case there is all pretty much just chipboard or particle board. We had a little bit of rubbishy stuff, the plastic frame. That was the front screen, which is quite thin and it's very brittle. And we had a little bit of Fool's extruded aluminium. You've heard of Fool's gold. Well, this looked like extruded, but it's actually plastic. But we did get some extruded. These straps here are all extruded aluminium. We had that really nice mirror, and I would say it's a very good quality mirror. I might see if I can cut that to a square and to suit a frame that I have, and we can at least then repurpose it as a mirror. this large magnifying diffuser type screen came out of the front. It was the main screen. It's quite a thick polycarbonate material. Now, I don't know what use we can have for that, but I'm not going to throw it out. I'm sure you guys will come up with some ideas, but I'll put it aside. It'll be handy one day. You know that old saying. So too good to throw out there. A little bit of steel, which is fairly thick gauge actually. That weighs quite a bit. What else did we get? We had a few remnant sort of electronic bits and a bit more wire. That's just the back of the control panel, and quite a substantial amount of hardware. The two speakers were pretty well stuffed, but I'm going to try and get the magnets off them because I can sell the magnets, but if nothing else they'd go in the shred. Now another bit of steel, and on this little bit of steel we have a warning, and it's always worth reading warnings. It says something about the bolts with springs are not adjustments, do not loosen, fluid leakage will occur, which makes me a little bit concerned and glad that I actually read that, because there must be some sort of fluid in here, and that's actually a rubberized type. So I'm not going to take them apart because I don't know what the fluid is. So I'm not sure what we can do with those. They look really cool. They look like laser guns, or maybe they could be the jet propulsion units on a spaceship or something. I don't know. Look, they'd be cool to repurpose, but because we don't know what the fluid is, I might do a bit of checking, because I would hate to sort of expose myself or anyone to it if it turns out to be dangerous. So we do need to be careful on some of these things, but if it's okay and if it's not a problem, I probably still won't take them apart, purely because it's going to make a mess and there's not enough value in there for me. The yokes may come off the back. If they do, then that's great. Looks like they might. There's just a clamp there, so they might come off like a normal picture tube yoke, so we will get the copper. But the front parts I might actually have to put in the e-waste and take to the transfer station, because I don't want to deal with potentially dangerous chemicals, and given that these TVs would go to the e-waste stream, they should know how to deal with it. So that's all we got, but yeah, pretty cool. So let's get to it before we run out of light and reduce the size of this big cabinet and take those casters off. It didn't stand a chance. Look at that. Alright, I better tidy this up. It's going to rain over the next few days, so I'll leave this out here in a nice neat pile. It can all get wet, it'll help it break down, and I can feed it through the curbside rubbish bin. Okay, let me interrupt there. I'm going to finalise this video here. I'll just show you a couple of things before we do go, but I will do an update because we've got some stuff to have a bit of a play with. So let me show you. We'll start with a bit of copper we got out of the yokes. That was the yoke that came off the back of the tube. There's the tubes there, and they were very easy to pull apart. The plastic pretty well just broke away, and we've got some nice lacquered copper which goes as number 2. Yeah, so there's not a lot there, but that would pay when we strip that one out. We're going to get $5 or so worth of copper. A little bit more hardware as well. Now these tubes, I did find out with a little bit of research that the fluid in them is ethylene glycol, and it's between the front of the picture tube and the lens, the main lens on the other side. And it can also be mixed with glycerine, I believe, and it's to help with heat transfer and the optical clarity of the image. So we're going to leave that well alone. It's not super toxic. I believe if you ingest it, it can be quite, well, it can even be fatal, but it's not readily transferred through skin So look, if we release some, it's not going to kill all life forms within a city block, but it's I don't want to make a mess anyway, so I'll be putting those in a container or a box where they can't be broken, and I'll take them out to the transfer station, and hopefully they end up being recycled safely and properly. I did take the lenses off them. They just unscrewed with 4 screws, and they're pretty cool. They're actually got a focus type set up on them, and if nothing else, we'll get $5 each, just purely for someone that likes playing with optics. So that was all right. They were worth saving. Now the other big find, we also had these wheels that I'm going to use, and of course our wonderful green jar of money. The other great find, and this project has just kept on giving, this screen, I've done a bit of checking, and it's a magnifying screen, and this one is actually the good type because it focuses on a spot, and it's known as a Fresnel lens, or it depends where you're from. I think that's the UK pronunciation. I think in America they call it a Fresnel lens. I'm going to, as my roots are more European than American, I'm going to go with Fresnel. Plus also I think the S would feel left out if we didn't actually say it. So this lens, it's a huge one, and I did a bit of checking, and these are very sought after. In fact, people advertise for these reprojection TVs purely to get that lens. Now, the universe has been kind to me because the transfer station knocked me back and I ended up getting to keep this. Now, I will do an update on this video. I'll show you the mirror that I'm going to cut down and frame. Also, what we can do with this lens. Just to give you a bit of a teaser, I held it up in the sunlight, focused it on an aluminium can, and in under 5 seconds it melted through. Now that is just crazy. That's I believe they can reach massive temperatures over 1,000 degrees Celsius. So that's going to be cool to have a play with. Now I also focused on this bit of plywood, and within 2 seconds it was almost an explosion of flame, and it was actually burning. So we've all had to play with little magnifying glasses as kids. This thing is a magnifying glass on steroids. That's crazy. And I've found a few references to people using them to actually cook and obviously light fires. But you can do cooking, and people actually buy these screens and put them in a frame and focus the sun, and they can cook things in cast iron camp ovens and everything. It's just crazy. And I've also learnt that maybe I don't make mistakes, because when I first looked at picking this TV up, I thought, oh no, what have I let myself in for? And we've got some scrap. We've had fun making a video. We got a jar full of money, which I haven't actually counted out yet, but that pays for the whole deal anyway. And we've got a super cool large Fresnel lens that I will make up a frame. I kept the front frame part of the TV, and I'll take this home and make up a timber frame that holds it safely. I will have to be very careful not to leave it in the sun, because I don't want my backyard or my shop incinerated. But how cool is that? So look out for my update. In the meantime, thanks for watching. This video turned out to be a bit of a marathon, and if I get offered one of these TVs again, well, as far as scrapping, no. Very disappointing. A little bit of hardware, a few other things. You saw everything I got. And the chances of finding money in a TV again, well, you do the calculations. I think it's pretty remote, but hey, the gods smiled on me this time. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye.